stepping up to perform, including Howes. Boy, he striked that one. Coach Loxley likes it.
Mike Loxley's offense getting into Auburn territory on all 5 offensive possessions and scoring points on 4 of them.
I mean, other than that one possession where Cameron Edge is in there, you see Coach Freeze. He's talking about, wow, how do you miss that? You know, has to be thinking going back to that hands to the face, which obviously takes you out of field goal range if it gets called. Cost Auburn perhaps 3 points right there on that drive.
Do you think that Maryland alum Scott Van Pelt may have texted his buddy Stanford Steve about his Auburn pick this morning on College Game Day? Far from over. Maryland up 24-7 with 8 seconds to go here in the second quarter. Auburn will get the ball first to start the second half, but they're going to have to get that offense going. Even when they did score a touchdown, it took 14 plays to do it. Kick does go out of bounds. Now, Auburn does have all of its timeouts left. Maybe you could sneak one down the field.
Kick out of bounds. Kicking team, first down from 35-yard line.
Field goal that Howes made just a moment ago was the longest field goal in Maryland bowl game history. Hugh Freeze still upset about the hands to the face call, or no call. Speaking of field goals, Alex McPherson has kicked a 53-yarder this season. And you need about 30 yards to get into his range. Thorne will just hand it off to Hunter, and Hunter goes down at the 40. And that's enough. Maryland in the first half has over 200 yards passing with 2 different quarterbacks. Billy Edwards threw a touchdown pass and ran for another. Cameron Edge came off the bench to throw a touchdown as well. And they lead 24-7.
This one certainly started differently than I think anybody anticipated. Maryland aggressive offensively and
TransPerfect Music City Bowl is part of Capital One Bowl Mania. Maryland all over Auburn in the first half with a 24-7 lead. I'm Taylor Zarzer. I'm standing on a box. That's Matt Stinchcomb, the College Football Hall of Famer. You'll see Alyssa Lang in just a moment. Hand up. I wondered what we'd see from this Maryland offense without Talia Tungavailoa going today. 2 different quarterbacks, didn't matter. They both were great.
Yeah, you weren't expecting like an explosive passing game performance, because that's precisely what we got. The other question was, you know, the role that tight ends could play in this game. Very prominent one at that. It was not the start that I think anyone anticipated to this Music City Bowl. Good on Auburn climbing into it right there at the end of the first half.
And Auburn will get the ball first to start the second half, as they did get a touchdown on their last offensive possession of the half on a 14-play drive. Maryland with over 200 yards passing in the first half, 12 first downs. Auburn limited to just 125 total yards. That kick gets to the corner, so it will be at the 25-yard line. How about that Maryland offense?
Well, they came out guns blazing. Now on a short pass, this is after having sent one downfield on the first play of the game. Roman Hemby made him pay after the catch, and then Billy Edwards just plowing his way into the end zone, as he has often done this year. Then it was a big play down the field to Caden Prather from Cam Edge. Deshaun Jones gets in on the action, and of course they finish it off with Dylan Wade.
They go to start the half. Get anything down to the field, and Alyssa.
Taylor, I caught up with Hugh Freeze coming out of the locker room at halftime. I asked him what the message to his team was during the break. He said, we got to fight. We have too many seniors who are gutting it out and strapped up to play this game. We've got to finish it for those guys. Hugh Freeze earlier this week, heavy on not focusing on the opt-outs, but focusing rather on the teammates who did finish out this season, who are here to fight this bowl game.
Their runner doesn't get much on first down. They go to him on second, and again, bottled up. Just 9 carries for 38 yards going into that play. Jordan Phillips on the tackle, and it's another 3rd and long for Auburn, just like it was the majority of the first half.
Yeah, back-to-back, very similar plays. Both of them stopped right at the line of scrimmage. We got Fairweather split off just off the edge at the left side of the formation, just outside the numbers, number 13.
Now he comes across it. It's looking that way, but in trouble. Thorne tackled way back at the 10. Tache Johnson wouldn't let go. That's a loss of 16 yards. They actually will mark it at the 12, so let's say 14, but a big loss.
You see, nowhere to go initially, although he had Fairweather. If he could have fit it in, he'd had to have dropped it in front of the safety. Regardless, ended up having to flush out. Now, he flushed out and around versus trying to step up in the pocket. He's been under pressure almost the entire game on downfield passes.
Chapman from his end zone gets it out of there. Fair catch called by Jashawn Jones. It's a 42-yard punt. No, Talia Tungavailoa. Who's next? Billy Edwards Jr. and Cameron Edge both have been terrific. Each of them will have a chance to be the starter next year. So will NC State transfer MJ Morris. That'll be quite a battle. Edwards does get the majority of the reps today, but as Coach Loxley told Alyssa going into the break, Cameron Edge got 2 series in the first half. He'll get 2 more in the second.
Yeah, but that was Billy Edwards' game. He was very clear about that. He is the quarterback for their offense in this contest.
Edwards wants to throw with plenty of time. Throws underneath, but dropped. A bit behind Preston Howard.
It was a nice pickup, too, because they got a little bit sloppy. What fueled the offense in the first half was their first down proficiency.
Second and 10. Edwards a strike, and it's too strong for Jones. Boy, that came whistling by Jones.
Edwards looking. Jones knows he could have come up with that one. On the RPO, see him be running up in there. Just a little bit high, a little bit too hot for Jones to come up with it.
Edwards was 3 of 6 to start the game.
Well, there you see that.
3rd down. They're now 3 of 6. They started 3 for 3. Edwards just 6 of 15 passing on trouble. And he gets rid of it and dropped. Boy, Eli Mason could have gotten a first down if he caught it.
Really well-timed blitz by Caleb Wood. So he comes in, watch number 12 come shooting in there. But it's right to Billy Edwards' side. Well, that's where he's looking. And he almost was able to improvise a couple of drops on that series. One by Preston Howard, and then Eli Mason just couldn't come up with it.
Brendan Segovia, just his second punt. Excuse me, it's Colton Spangler. Segovia punted the second half of the season, but Spangler back in there today. And Keontae Scott in traffic gets up near the 30-yard line. Auburn's down 24-7. Need Prescott and the Cowboys, 2 playoff teams. Lions have won the North. It's at 8 Eastern on ABC, ESPN, ESPN2, ESPN Deportes, and ESPN Plus. If you can't find it, there's something wrong with you. Wow. It's everywhere, including on this channel. And speaking of the NFL, this, of course, an NFL field. And the most memorable play that ever happened on it was by that man, FW, the Maryland Terrapin, Frank Wycheck. course, the Music City Miracle that he completed just 8 yards in front of where this ball will be snapped. It was a lateral, by the way. Thorne throws down the field into double coverage. It's incomplete. He was looking for Caleb Burton. Of course, Frank passed away way too soon last month on December the 9th, or this month rather, December the 9th, just 3 weeks ago today. A running back and a wide receiver at Maryland, an all ACC performer. He's also a terrific sports talk show host in this city. He meant the world to the city of Nashville. He's gone way too soon, and I know Terps fans and football fans everywhere miss him, and we certainly celebrate him today. Thorne takes off. Ooh. Gets hit again. That's why he hasn't run much, Stitch. Sean Greeley hit him this time.
Man.
Wearing Frank Wycheck's number.
How about that? Wow. Apropos, timely to say the least. But you mentioned it. Yeah, Peyton Thorne, he's only run it with intention twice, really, in this game. And he has gotten grilled both times. You got to think, when he is your incumbent, and they've already named him the starter, are they going to be careful with how he runs the football in this game?
Did Auburn stay on the field on these first few possessions of either half? They try to run it on this one, and it's Hunter trying to inch his way close. The offensive line tried to push him up to the 38-yard line.
It looked like, yeah,
they did it.
Yep, the linesman, when he stepped to spot that ball, he said that progress was just enough, and it really was. The kind of that second effort. Watch the scrum. He kind of gets up in there, big old mob of guys. Oh yeah, he definitely got it.
Fake to Hunter, quick throw passes. Watch out. To the house. It's Glendon Miller. 41 yards.
They're trying to flip it out to Caleb Burton, and Glendon Miller said he read it all the way. He's coming inside.
Flag down at the end of the play.
The result of the play is a touchdown. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct for taunting, excessive celebration, defense number 13. That penalty will be enforced on the kickoff. That is his first.
All 4 of his career interceptions this year. That's the 16th interception for Maryland this season, Stitch. It's their first pick 6.
Well, the offense starting kind of slow here in the third quarter. The defense getting in on the action.
To 7 Terrapins. This team is fired up to be in Nashville, Tennessee for the first time. Glendon Miller with a house call, and the Terps going crazy. Apropos for the music.
Coach Freeze.
He was filled with smiles until this game started. I don't think he saw this coming.
No. Well, many, I don't think, did. You know, especially when you think, as soon as, you know, Talia Tagovailoa says, I'm out of here. I'm not going to play in this game. And out of here to where is the big question mark. You had to think, okay, well, that's the biggest challenge, the most important position on the field is quarterback. And Maryland has had success regardless of who was out there.
From the 19 Batty. After the penalty, that ball's on the ground. Maryland recovers it. It's Fisher that picks it up.
Rex Fleming think, got his left hand in there.
Yeah, and Perry Fisher's the one that recovered it.
And Fleming was off balance. He was kind of falling out of the picture there. Just reached out. Got his hand right on the ball. Battee, who's put together a couple of decent returns. Not great blocking on all of them. The ball's on the floor again. Another big turnover.
And Edwards diving into Tigers.
John Elway.
Austin Keys on the tackle. Let's go back to the fumble.
Also, he just got, I mean, you see Fleming, he's just kind of getting bounced out of there. He got blocked. He's off balance. He stays in it. Fought his way through that play and just kind of desperation swipe. Got the ball on the ground. Well, Billy Edwards putting his body on the line, helicoptering his way for that 4 yards.
Keeper again. Tripped up right near the marker by Eugene Asante. It is enough for a first down.
This possession, short field, quick change. 2 plays and already a conversion just outside of the red zone. Another scoring opportunity.
Congratulations to Lane Kiffin and the Ole Miss Rebels. They beat Penn State today 38-25 in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Flea flicker here. Edwards wants to go to the end zone. Into double coverage. And they were looking for Punch Knots. Kayan Lee. That's the defender you're looking at there that was able to get his hands on it.
Yeah, that's twice where they've run kind of a gadget play trying to get it to Knots. Last time it was the double pass. Wasn't open. This time it's the flea flicker, and the ball probably should have never been thrown. So that's the second we've seen in this game from Billy Edwards where he's lucky to get the ball back.
I'd say so. So Ole Miss beats Penn State. Georgia and Florida State are underway in the Capital One Orange Bowl. As McDonald goes to the ground, Jamison Travis on the tackle. Down in Miami Gardens, Florida State's down close to 24 players in that game after a 13-0 season. Georgia wins 29 straight, loses 1 game by a field goal, and somehow doesn't get into the playoffs. Both of those teams in action right now over on ESPN.
Yeah, both those programs sitting there kind of putting their arms up in the air like, what do you got to do? Well, the answer is for Georgia, you got to win the games you play. You lost the wrong game this season.
Edwards steps into Tigers and goes down. Zacchaeus Walker. Second sack of the year.
You said it. That's a good way to describe it. Just kind of stepped into this sack, did Edwards. He was looking to push it downfield. Walker's working off the edge. Delmar Glaze, DJ Glaze, one of the best offensive linemen. Second team all-conference in the Big Ten. Great job just continuing to work that pass rush. Did Walker all the way to Edwards.
And Colton Spangler's going to come in to try to pooch this one. Short kick. Takes a Terps bounce. And it's down at the 3. Maryland leads Auburn 31-7 in the TransPerfect Music City Bowl.
On one of the few design runs we've seen for Thorne. Gets a sack, and then you come right back with a pick 6. It's been a rough outing for the Auburn offense in general, and their quarterback, and Peyton Thorne specifically.
Who's in his own end zone, hands it to Austin. And Austin got into the secondary up to the 10-yard line to give Auburn a little space. Whether this game becomes competitive or not, I can promise you we have a lot left to do here. We have plenty of food to talk about. We have to talk about the college football playoff.
Yeah.
We have to talk about both of these programs going into next year. And Alyssa has promised, though we haven't seen it yet, that she's going to wear a cowboy hat.
I've seen the hat. The hat's down there.
Austin spins and gets up just past the 10. Daniel Wingate on the tackle. Another Auburn 3rd down.
But you can't bring a hat.
Not really sure what the purchase was for at this point.
Very disappointing so far. She's got rhinestone boots on.
Yes,
Crying out
she
loud.
went all in. Very proud of her. On this cold day in Nashville. Thorne on third and 3. Can he get it? He's short. Pushed out by Wingate.
Just nowhere to go with the football either.
There's a flag that's coming
late
at the end.
Talking to the umpire. Oftentimes that's something from the lines, offense or defensive.
During the run, personal foul, face mask, defense number 44. 15-yard penalty added to the end of the run. Number 72 may remain in the game due to the foul.
Caleb Wheatland, evidently, as Xavion Miller's helmet came off, he can stay in because he was fouled by Caleb Wheatland.
Yeah, so take a look. There it is. You know, they're all engaged. Once again, ends up, you know, you got the evidence right there in your hand. Yeah, I ripped his helmet off. I'm still holding the helmet.
Austin ahead to the 29. Auburn 6-6. It's Arkansas, Mississippi State. They got hot. Gave Georgia everything they could handle. I think anyone watching this broadcast would say they should have beaten Alabama. Thorne throws sideline. Catch made by Frazier. Be third and short.
Are you assuming?
Of course, the New Mexico State game was so disappointing.
Right.
At home. It had the ups and downs of year number 1, but I think all Auburn fans are expecting a big jump in year number 2, Stench.
No question. And when you look at that recruiting class, you know, that's what the hope springs eternal. They got to look at something positive. That run is short of the line to gain.
It's going to be 4th down because Hunter didn't get there.
But you're right. I mean, this is something that we have to do. You have to spin it forward. Consistency was the word that Hugh Freeze kept mentioning. Here comes the big, what are we calling this? Boomer, tumor, whatever.
Tumor tush. Flag down.
Lane's push. That was a suggestion. Okay. Like that. It did look like he got it. Although not from where it was spotted.
Offside. Defense number 19. Line up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty. The yardage results in a first down.
Coach Loxley can't be happy about that. Your team's up 24, and you have a personal foul penalty on 3rd down and then offsides on 4th.
Yeah, that's, earlier you talked about the offense and the sloppiness in their execution. You know, that extends to penalties as well. As you mentioned, you rip a guy's helmet off, you think the refs are going to miss it? It's kind of tough. And then, of course, you line up in the neutral zone and gift a 4th down conversion.
Was Perry Fisher on a defensive back blitz.
Yeah, it looked like it was to the protecting back side. Hunter was over there. It was like Fisher just came from so far outside that Hunter just never scanned and made it all the way out there. So 27 is right there. You see him, he's just late in diagnosing the blitz. So he's got his eyes kind of hung inside. You're looking for a linebacker. Instead, they come with the edge pressure from the slot.
2nd and 17 after Maryland gets home for the 2nd time today. Play clock is running out.
And Auburn got a timeout in just in time.
Number 28, What's most interesting to me, Stench, about this schedule are the teams that aren't on it. LSU, Mississippi State, and Ole Miss don't play Auburn next year.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy, right? How long has it been? 30 years, something like that? It kind of lays out interestingly because you see the kind of de facto. You start out in the West. You got Arkansas in like a new West if the division still exists in Oklahoma. Then they play 4 straight what would have been legacy SEC East teams. With the Georgia, Vanderbilt, Kentucky, Missouri. That's 2 more than they normally would have played. And then you go back to the West and finish with A&M and Alabama. So you got 4 what were SEC East teams, 3 old SEC West plus Oklahoma on the schedule.
You see the new era of the SEC is coming right here to ABC in 2024. Peyton Thorne up to the 35-yard line. We've seen SEC teams on this network for many years, mostly wearing all white, wearing road colors, but you're going to see home colors on ABC beginning next year for many years to come.
Yeah, one big family next year. ESPN, ABC, that conference anyway. I have a better idea of when games are going to be played. Or Peyton Thorne. It's been a long afternoon, not just statistically. When he's carried the football, he's gotten thumped pretty heavily.
3rd and 15. Thorne steps up, throws, and it hits Ruben Hippolyte in the hip as Rivaldo Fairweather was the intended target.
It's kind of the story of the game. Rarely, if ever, is there somewhere to go with the football. Mike Locksley's got to be really pleased with how his defense has held up. Coming into this game, we talked about, they're shorthanded. They're shorthanded specifically in the defensive backfield. They've stepped up.
Chapman sends it up into the sky. A fair catch made by Jayshon Jones. These are 2 of the first games on New Year's Day. Wisconsin squares off against number 13 LSU in the ReliaQuest Bowl at noon Eastern on ESPN2 and on ABC right here at 1 Eastern. It's number 17 Iowa taking on number 21 Tennessee in the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl in Orlando. Of course, we also have the college football playoff coming up on Monday. That guy's ready. There are volunteers all over Music City.
FSU fans, too, apparently. That was weird. Tennessee guy next to an FSU guy. Both of them pretty disappointed.
It's Cameron Edge's turn. He hands to Roman Hemby, and Hemby will get a couple of yards. We saw Edge for 2 series in the first half. 3 for 3 passing.
There for a moment looked like he wasn't catching what was being said.
He gets maybe a yard or 2 as Riley makes the tackle at the end of the 3rd quarter. We were talking about Auburn's schedule in 2024. Mike Locksley in his 5th season as a head coach. His 3rd straight year with at least 7 wins. Trying for an 8th win. Coach Locksley was saying that in this day and age of college football, you feel like more like a general manager / head coach or a roster manager. There's so much roster turnover these days. Edge, that's a 1st down ball. He remains perfect. Gets it to Shalik Knox. Next year, Coach Locksley and the Terps will start the season against UConn on August the 31st. They play USC in a conference game on October 19th and play at Oregon in another one on November 9th.
The Rose Bowl. Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Big Ten games against USC and Oregon. And like I said about Auburn, what's most notable about that schedule to me, the name's not on there. Michigan and Ohio State. They don't play either one of those schools next year.
Coach Locksley's sad to see those departures.
Edge, a rainmaker back there, easily picked off. Miscommunication, and Caleb Wooden just ran underneath it. And he's out of bounds at the 45-yard line. Like Shalik Knox. Maybe he got tripped or fell down on the play. There's a flag down.
Yeah, so they get a little crossed up. Watch Knox. He gets a little bit crossed up. Looked like maybe it was Keontae Scott, maybe even tripped over his own teammate in Smith.
Yep.
It looks like maybe, I don't know, at the end of the return, if there was a late hit.
Ruling on the field is an interception. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, Auburn, number 36. Unnecessary roughness from the player on the bench. 15-yard penalty, first down, Auburn.
Jalen Simpson is not playing today in this game. As he just said, he's on the bench.
Yeah, unnecessary roughness from a player on the bench.
Simpson, who's had a terrific career, dressing out in Auburn colors for the final time today.
Well, there's another 36. He's shaking his head. This was not me.
That's Luke Rebels, the running back.
How about his buddy put his hand up?
There is Simpson with the towel over his head at the 50-yard line.
Oh, there's Jalen McLeod was kind of already, he was in the play originally, and it looked like maybe he was coming from the bench.
I think that's right. Not Simpson. Jalen McLeod, 35. So they got the number incorrect. Hunter makes the catch, and he goes past the 35. So we apologize to Mr. Simpson for assuming that the official had the right number. It's 35 McLeod.
How about Etheridge, putting his boy on Front Street? Oh no, I found him. Here he is, the culprit.